Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. My name is Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com. Today, I'm going to be joined by Mr. Al McMordie of BigAl.com. First time appearance for Big Al. And those of you who have been following the sports betting industry for a long time are well familiar with Big Al and his accolades and all his accomplishments. He's a true pro in like everybody we bring on this channel. So, Al, without further ado, how are you, my friend?
Doing well, Ross. Thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Yep. It's we are taping on Wednesday, September the 7th, and we got two free picks for you in college football on September the 11th, which is Saturday. We're going to be covering Oregon State and Fresno State and also Houston, Texas Tech. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about Al. First time on the show, BigAl.com is his website. Al, tell us how long you've been in the business. I know how long. Makes me feel old because you've been in it longer than I have. And also what you might have coming up this week and how you've been doing of late.
Yeah, I started the business in 1992. I was practicing law down in Dallas, Texas at the time, and I made the acquaintance of another handicapper named Pork Chop. His real name was David Flynn, but he went by Pork Chop. And David thought I was a pretty good handicapper, and he kind of got on my case to get into the business. And I put him off for about a month in early 1992. And finally, I relented, and he bought a 900 line for me, and I got into the business. And that's how it actually all started. It was not really anything I intended to do with my life. It just sort of happened. And I've been working full-time as a handicapper since 1995. I stopped practicing law back in December of 1995. So it's been, really 30+ years. And, I'm a little bit different than some handicappers. I'm a situational and technical handicapper for the most part. Which will become clear when we talk about the games. Every handicapper is different. Some people like to handicap, with statistics. Some people are fundamental handicappers. I'm much more of a situational handicapper, Ross.
Yes. So you're still using the 4D handicapping software?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I've upgraded it over the past 9 or 10 years. It was Tom Scarnecchia, who went by the name Tom Scott. When he ran Buckeye Sports in the business, and Tom has passed away. But I got it from Tom, I think in 1999 or 2000, and then I've made a lot of upgrades to it over the past 10 years, and it's a great tool.
It absolutely is, Al, because I use the same thing myself, just a little different version these days, but all in the same. It's technical handicap. And as opposed to you, I've incorporated other things in there, but I still rely on my database for the most part. In any event, Al, anything coming up you want to talk to the viewers on, what you might have coming up at BigAl.com for this coming weekend? Big weekend, NFL opening week, Al.
Yeah, I tend to tread lightly the first week of any sport. So, for example, in week 1 of college, I had 1 play. Well, I mean, week 0. Then in week 1, I had 7 plays. Last week, I was 4-3. And I've already put that up. And I also have 7 plays on Saturday, including my non-conference game of the month in college football. So it looks to be a really nice card on Saturday for sure.
And you can find all those picks at BigAl.com. That's BigAl.com. Folks, this guy's been on top of the leaderboards for years now, consistently. And that speaks volumes. Not only longevity in this business, he's been doing it since 1995, as he alluded to, but he's successful in doing so. And quite frankly, you don't last that long unless you have an ability to win on a consistent basis. Like myself, but I'm not a veteran compared to Al. I got going in 2000. I just feel good saying that, Al, because there's not many guys I talk to that's been longer than me.
Yeah, it's I can't believe it's been 30 years. I actually have been handicapping 44 years. I started when I was 12, but I founded the business in 1992. So technically, I guess I've been in the business for 30 years, but I mean, I've been like literally doing it for 44 years. I've got that go back to 1979 and 1980. So
Yeah,
it's been a labor of love.
absolutely. It's a passion of mine. It has been since I've been a kid. I've been doing it professionally since 2002. And here we are, still doing it, which, again, folks, that should tell you something. All right, let's get into the free picks, Al. Real good game, intriguing matchup, I should say. The Houston Cougars go on the road to play Texas Tech. Now, these teams met last year in Arlington, and Texas Tech came away with a win. So Houston, and that was one of two losses that Houston suffered last year. The current line right now is Texas Tech is a 3-point home favorite. Al, what do you got for us?
Well, I actually played against Houston last week. I took Texas San Antonio and, eked out a win there. They were 3.5-point underdog. They lost by 2 in overtime, 37-35. Texas Tech just blasted Murray State last week, 63-10. And that's a key reason why I am on Texas Tech in this ball game. When you pick them, teams have done over the past 42 years when they won their previous game by 53 or more points. They're 142 and 92 ATS. So it's a momentum play for me on Texas Tech minus the points. And also in this price range, the Red Raiders are now 32-9 with a push. Their last 42 home games when they're priced in between -3 and -12 points. You alluded to the fact that they did defeat them last year, and that revenge motive is one of the reasons why this won't be a big play for me and why it's just, a complimentary selection here. But I like.
So Big Al is on Texas Tech or -3 over Houston. I also had Houston last week over UTSA. So brilliant minds do think alike. And are you still with us, Al? Or did
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
sure.
And so you like the Texas Tech Raiders
I do.
over the Houston Cougars. And again, folks, like Al just said, just because we're using this as just a free pick, that doesn't mean we don't want to win. But it's business 101, because I know a lot of you chime in out there and say, well, Ross, why don't you just give us your best picks? Well, we need to stay in business. We sell picks for a living. And basically, folks, what happens is if we have 5 games that we're going to use on the premium side, me and Al will be giving you the 6th pick or thereabouts, for a free pick. It's just the way it is. It's what we call a non-qualifier. Something we may have written down earlier and then use it for a free pick. So, and as you could see, the free picks on this channel have been, Al, I hope you keep up the trend, and I'm sure you will. The free picks on this channel have been knocking it out of the park, so let's continue to do so. I'm going to take a look at the Oregon State and Fresno game, and we'll get to this quickly and through it without any pain. And the result, hopefully, will not bring you any pain as well. Oregon State coming off a 34-17 home win over Boise State, and they covered that game as a 2-point favorite. A little misleading, because if you look at that game, Oregon State was a small favorite. Yes, they covered, but they jumped out to a quick 24-0 lead. Why? Because Boise State quarterback Hank Bachmeier turned the ball over on each of his first three possessions, and then was subsequently pulled from the game. And they managed to get back into it somewhat, but it really was an Oregon State win wire to wire. They did force 5 turnovers last week, Oregon State. As I just alluded to, 3 on the first 3 possessions, but they also committed 3 turnovers of their own. So that's something to keep in mind. And using my trusted 4D handicapping software, a la McMordie, Oregon State, since 2015, folks, 0-7 straight up in non-conference away games and losing by 18 points per contest. Fresno State coming off a 35-7 win over Cal Poly. They play at the FCS level, but they did rack up 549 yards of total offense. Really love their quarterback, Jake Hanner. 36 out of 42 last week for 377 yards. No fluke. This last year, Hainer, 67.1% completion rate. Also 33 touchdowns against 9 interceptions and throws for over 4,000 yards. And since 2017, again, using my handicapping software, Fresno State 7-1 straight up in non-conference home games. Their only loss came in 2019 to Minnesota, and that was by a narrow 3-point margin. I'm going with Fresno State here at home, +1 over Oregon State. And Big Al, he likes the Texas Tech Red Raiders -3 over the Houston Cougars. Al, again, tell the folks where they could find you, and I thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Ross. Yeah, I'm easy to find. Just go to the website bigal.com and you can reach me there, and all my contact information is at that page.
All right, so another version of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast, another successful version after you see these results. And until the next time, for Big Al and Ross Benjamin, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us. Take care and good luck, and God bless, folks.